Hi, Annabelle. Thank you for doing your homework and sending it to me. In this video, I'm going to explain the feedback I've given you in the homework itself. It's important that you do the homework because it helps me to identify whether obviously you understood what had tutored, but also helps me to identify areas which you haven't still understood or you understood wrongly and I need to correct them. It also helps me to see how I can help you to present your work in such a way that it will help you to maximize your opportunity to get the marks you deserve during exams. And also to try to help you how you can write to save time. Time management is extremely important in the exam. Now, this is just a trial video for you. If you find it useful, as I said, you need to discuss with the mom and dad who are very willing to help you so that you can improve your marks and perform better in the coming exam. I'm very, very willing to help as long as the student is willing to learn. I dedicate my time, I dedicate my energy, but the only best reward I can get is to help you to succeed and improve your grades. Not necessarily the money that I get paid now, but to help you to make sure that you succeed. If you succeed, all of us, we are very, very happy, including your mom and dad. Okay, so let's see what actually I taught. Just see what I tutored last session, the very first session we had. So we looked at demand and supply. Okay, and I also talked about the market. Now, in the market, there are two groups of people, as I said. One group is the group that is buying the products, and another group is the group that is selling the products. So everywhere where you see a buyer and a seller, that is called a market. A market is not a specific place where obviously everybody has got to go there to be called a buyer. No, it's going to be on the internet when you're in your house. And I said where we were, you were yourself a buyer. I was a seller. I was selling my tutorial services and you were buying the tutorial services. I also talked about the motives we have. So these two groups of people have got different motives. Motives is what is the driving force? What motivates them to go to the market? Now, the buyer has a drive of maximizing the value or the benefit he gets for his money. Therefore, he's going to buy more goods when the price is low. Therefore, in the demand and supply curve, the buyer is represented by the demand curve. So the demand curve shows as the price increases, the buyer will buy less because he has less maximum number of products he can get for his money. But if the prices falls down, then he's going to buy more products. So he's more likely to buy more when the price is down. So this movement of demand up and down is called contraction and extension and is only caused by changes in the price. In the same way, we look at the supplier. This is the person who is selling. Sometimes they are called producers. Therefore, in the demand and supply curve, the supplier, the producer, is represented by the supply curve. His motive is totally different. He is in that particular market because he wants to get maximum profit. So he's there to maximize the profit he gets for his goods that he is selling. Therefore, because his drive is different, he's going to sell more when the price is higher, and he's going to sell less when the price is lower. So I said these two groups of people, because they have to exchange these products, for money, then they have to negotiate, because one want to buy more when the price is down, the other one want to sell more when the price is up. So therefore, they will be negotiating. The suppliers will be negotiating for the prices to be up, while the buyers are going to be negotiating for the price to go down. Therefore, these are called market forces of demand and supply, and sometimes it's called the invisible hand. So therefore, they'll reach a certain point where the buyer is happy and supplier is happy. That is the equilibrium point, and that will determine the price that the seller is going to charge and the buyer is willing to buy. That is called a market price. So this is what we talked about. So movement of demand up and down, or movement of supply up and down, is caused by the changes in the price, and they are sometimes called contraction and extension. Okay, so this is what I covered. So here I'm going to only look at the first part of your question. But if you will be happy when you do the next homework, once you agreed with mom and dad, I'm going to actually do the whole of it. Okay, so let's look at the very first question that we're given. That's part 1 of question 1. Okay, what does a supply curve show? So supply, immediately realize this is the group of people who are selling the products, or they are producing the products. Some they produce the products and the others have to sell on their behalf. Okay, others they produce and sell at the same time. So what that curve shows, so that curve I've already said, it shows a relationship, not a relation, a relationship between the price level, okay, not the cost of goods, no, it's the price level and the quantity that the supplier or the producer is willing to supply. Okay, if he's not happy with that particular price, he's not going to supply those particular products at all. So it is the relationship between the price, okay, at which the supplier, okay, is willing to supply that quantity. So quantity versus the supply. Okay, so that's what actually supply is. The next question is asking what causes contraction of supply, right? So the question is asking for contraction of supply, which means I talked about extension and contraction. So here, contraction of supply is caused by reduction in the price. So if the price is lowered, then the supply is going to go down. This again is application of what you have defined in the first part. Okay, it has nothing to do with demand. No, it's the price itself. As soon as the price is down, then the supplier will supply less. So therefore, the supply has contracted. If the price goes up, then the supplier will supply more, which means the supply has extended. Okay. So any other factors are not going to cause movement along the demand or supply curve. So for example, let's take a demand first. Okay. So demand, I gave you example how mom and dad would look for a house with more bedrooms if the number of children are increasing. So not necessarily because the price of the houses have changed. No, it's the number of children that has increased. So therefore, it's going to look for the supplier who supplies bigger houses. Let's take an easier example to remember in terms of supply. So the number of suppliers in the market, okay, has increased. So many suppliers have come into the market, or many producers have come into the market. Then the total supply of whatever product you are actually is being supplied is going to increase. Not necessarily because the price of that product has changed. No. So therefore, this is going to be shown by a shift. Is a shift in the supply to the right. Okay. If more supplies have left the market, the total supply will go down. therefore it is going to shift to the left. In the same way, demand, if there are more people demanding that particular service, then the demand will increase, not necessarily because their price have changed. No, it will shift to the right. So, for example, if the total population in that area has actually increased, the demand for houses is going to increase, not necessarily because the price of the houses has changed, no, but because of the number of people has increased, which require more houses. Therefore, the demand will shift to the right. Okay. So the next question is asking, describe the two factors that can cause a supply curve to shift. Okay. So again, is when looking at the supply curve here. So do not talk about the price here, because the price is going to cause the contraction and extension. But shift is the other factors other than the price. So what you answered there, so one factor that can cause the supply to shift is an increase in the cost. Now, cost of what? Okay. There's some sense in what you wrote, but obviously you are not explaining clearly what is it that is going to actually change here. So the cost of what? Because if it's going to, the only cost there is going to be the cost of raw materials. So the cost of raw materials. But usually the cost of raw materials will always affect the price as well. Because if you have, it has cost you more to produce the products, then you pass that cost to the consumer who is going to buy your product, so that the price is going to be much higher. Okay, so you needed to talk of things like, for example, as I said, the total number of suppliers in the market. If there's more suppliers coming into the market, the supply will shift to the right, because there are more suppliers. So overall, the number of goods is going to increase. Okay, in the same way, if many suppliers leave the market, then obviously the supply is going to shift to the left, because the numbers of all of what you supply is going to go down. Okay, so this is what you needed actually to write. So when you read these comments, they should make sense, and also know how obviously you can improve. Okay, so if this will help you, discuss with mom, and then let me know. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks very much. Bye.